I just got in my order from M&M Comics, the place where I order most of my new comic books. Let's open up this box and see what I pre-ordered for this month. Welcome back, comic book fans. It's Rusty again with Collector Auctions, and here I am today with a comic book unboxing. It is my monthly shipment of comics from M&M Comics, where I pre-order most of my new comic books. Now, you guys know I do new comic book day videos each and every week, and that is usually designed for me to go down to pick up comics that I failed to pre-order. Well, this is my pre-order, and the reason I pre-order most of my new comics is to save a lot of money, because I get a much better discount ordering 2 to 3 months in advance. Anywhere from 35% up to 50% usually on most of the new comic books. So I do pretty good. But when I go to the new comic book day, yes, I'm finding the books that I missed, but I'm paying more because I'm not paying quite cover price. I'm getting 10% off at the comic book shop. But it's not as good as that 35% or even 50% on some of the books. So I've got the scissors right here. We're going to get into this in just a second. But if you guys enjoy this kind of content, definitely hit that like, slap the subscribe, and click on that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the shows that I put out each and every week, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 3 p.m. All right, guys, no delays today. Got the scissors. Let's get right into this. If it gets noisy and takes a while, I'll fast forward. All right, guys, so I opened it up, and what you have inside is a Gemini style protector. It's not a mailer exactly, but it does protect a large number of books right here. And I can tell that my order this month was definitely down. I had cut down on some of the books, and that's good and bad, but it's good because, oh, I'm saving money. But the problem is I missed things, and maybe I should have ordered them. And then I go to comic book day, new comic book day, and I end up spending more money. So having a small order is good and bad at the same time, but I still need to get into this. Give me another second. All right, guys, I've got them out. Big giant bag of comic books here. What I'm going to do now is open this up. I'm going to bag and board everything, so I'll protect them when I set them up here in the stand. I don't want anything to get banged up, and then I'll be right back, and we'll show off everything at that point. So stay tuned, and I'll be right back.
A few moments later.
All right, everybody, I ended up bagging and boarding all the new comic books. Thank you for giving me that time to do that. Right now, let's get into this. So every month, I get in my order the free Marvel Preview magazine right here. It spotlights all the books that I can pre-order 2 to 3 months from now. Well, I pre-order now for the books I will get 2 to 3 months from now. Normally, I get the DC Connect magazine as well, but I did not see that in the order. But I did get one other free thing. It is the Death of Wolverine #1, the M&M Comics variant with Terry Dodson, Rachel Dodson artwork right there. And this would be really nice. I was kind of excited. I didn't know this even existed. But as I'm bagging and boarding it, they got a real finger bend right up here at the top where they'd put it in the bag and kind of smushed it a little bit. So that'll be a book. It'll just stay in the PC. Maybe I'll give it away at some point. I don't know. It's not going to be worth anything at this point being damaged like that. But that would have been cool to get Rachel and Terry Dodson to sign that. So those were the free things. So let's get into what I got this month. The big thing for this month looks like it was Marvel. I'm looking down at the pile of books sitting here on the desk, and Marvel is the big winner. And that's interesting because literally last month the order was flipped. DC outnumbered the number of Marvel books. Now, and granted, that was because of some of the facsimiles that I had ordered. But Marvel for DC really did beat Marvel in the number of books I ordered, and that was the first time, and I can remember in the last 30 years that's ever happened. But we'll start with Marvel since it dominates this week. I've been picking up the Death of Spider-Man, the 8 Deaths of Spider-Man. This is issue number 63 and 64. And this is cool. I did not know that I pre-ordered this, or at least I didn't remember I pre-ordered, and it's a pretty hot book right now. It is the new Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, #1 right there. So that's a pretty good book. This is fairly hot. I'd have to go back and see if it's actually worth getting graded, but I don't want to play that game right now. By the time I get it graded, it's so far after the fact, I don't think it's going to be worth doing that right now, but it's still a pretty hot book. Let's put these down. A lot of Marvels this week. A lot of Marvel. West Coast Avengers, number 2. And you guys will get the idea. You can tell that I'm really behind. When this video comes out, you're going to have new comic book day videos that have already come out. That's probably 2, maybe 3 issues already in advance. It's already there. And you can tell that by doing this pre-order, you do have to kind of wait on the books a little bit. And it feels like I'm really behind on some of these because I've seen these and I've already talked about them on some of my new comic book day videos. But we'll just continue. Time Slide, number 1, Cable and Bishop right there. I think this was the last in this run of Captain America right there. Number 16. Regular title, Avengers, number 21, just a regular cover. Big fan of the Avengers throughout my whole life, so whether I like it or not, I still collect the Avengers, as well as Avengers Assemble. I get most of the non-traditional Avenger titles, although I did go through a phase in the early 2010s and teens that they had so many different titles that I wasn't picking up everything at that point. I did pick up issue number 1 of the Infinity Watch. Feels to me like this is a book that could possibly have a lot of first appearances. I don't remember my justification on this other than I know it was a number 1. Just like this, Holiday Tales to Astonish right there. I thought that was kind of cool. Some of these I buy because I don't think it's going to be collectible necessarily, but I think it's going to be fun to read. I did pick up 2 issues of the TVA, the Time Variance Authority. You got issue number 1 right there. And we've got this variant, and I'm not sure who did the art on this one right here, but I must have felt compelled at the time to pre-order this. And then we move over to some of the Ultimate titles. We've got the ongoing Ultimate Spider-Man, which really is at this point, I've already dropped X-Men, I've dropped Black Panther, I've dropped the Ultimates. Although I do have the Ultimates right here. This is, I think, the last of my pre-orders. I feel like I keep saying it's the last of my pre-orders on the Ultimates. But number 7 right there was definitely pre-ordered. And I think the writer on this, Dennis Camp, I believe, is actually going to be at Third Eye Comics. I got to check on that. I think he's coming in for a signing. So I may actually have to bust out some of the first issues of the Ultimates because I know I got a bunch of variant covers. I may bring those out for him to sign. And then the last one was a one-shot, The Ultimate Universe number 1, year 1. And I got this cover because it kind of reminded me of Jim Steranko a little bit. It reminded me of Michael Cho. I should have picked up the other Wolverine cover on this because this is the Ultimate Wolverine's first appearance is in this book. So I should have picked up the Ultimate Wolverine cover that's a homage to Marvel Comics Presents by Barry Windsor Smith. I think issue 78 maybe. But that was, I was going to say, that was it for Marvel, but it's not. We actually have another subcategory, which is the X-Men. I've dropped most of the titles, but there are still some continuing. Wolverine I'm still continuing with at this point. Who's writing this? I'm not sure. I did pick up issue number 1 of Helverine, and I've got to pull this because Ben Percy, who's writing this and helped create the Helverine, is going to be at Third Eye Comics coming up, so I'll definitely pull this for a signing. And even though I had dropped the title X Factor, I picked up the variant cover, and that's strictly a cover buy because it's Jenny Frison, and that will get pulled for a future Jenny Frison signing, most likely, although that pile is getting bigger and bigger every day, because it seems like every month, every week I go to New Comic Book Day, there's always at least 1, sometimes up to 3 different covers that particular week with Jenny Frison. It's just like Art Germ. You can't go a week without having one of the 2 of them at least once, maybe multiple times. But that was it for the Marvel books right there. Let's go over to DC in a much smaller pile this week, even though I do have a couple facsimiles, and we'll include those as well. Justice League Unlimited number 2. I think you still have, what's his name? Mark Waid. Yep, Mark Waid's still doing this book. So easy read, good comic book, no matter what political affiliation and how insane Mark Waid can get because of his Trump derangement syndrome. he still writes good comic books. They're fun most of the time. And he doesn't, maybe I'm wrong on this, but he doesn't seem like he gets as much of the present day politics in his books as much as a lot of other writers do. You can let me know if I'm wrong on that, but that's sort of my take. I still enjoy Mark Waid books. Continuing with the new Batman Long Halloween, The Last Halloween right there by Jeff Loeb. Who's doing the artwork? Cliff Chang and Dave Stewart. Of course, they're recycling Tim Sale artwork for the covers for these, so I'm not really picking up variants on this. And to be honest, these are books that'll never get signed because you'd love to have Tim Sale on them because of the covers, but it is what it is. He passed way too soon. And then we go over to the Absolute books, Absolute Wonder Woman number 3. And I swear, I think you're already into issue 4 and 5 at this. This order really seems late. It's almost like I feel like I'm going to get another order right on top of this, but we'll find that out. We've got Ultimate Batman number 3. Again, aren't they almost coming out with issue number 6 already? Man, this order really feels late. Issue number 2 of Ultimate Superman. Of course, Jason Aaron was just at Third Eye Comics and did a signing, and I didn't get any number 2s or 3s or any of those signed, but I did get several of issue number 1 signed. And I know they're already on issue number 3, and I'd already talked about this 2 weeks ago from the filming of this video. New Gods number 1, and I enjoyed this. I actually picked it up. I didn't realize I'd ordered it, but I'd already picked that up on New Comic Book Day. And I'm continuing with it because I picked up issue number 3 just a week ago, and I'm enjoying reading that title. The artwork is really good. So I picked up issue number 1 here, continuing with picking up number 1s of Challengers of the Unknown. I think I got this on New Comic Book Day, and I wasn't too impressed with the book, so I discontinued that. And we've got issue number 5 of Jenny Sparks, and I know issue number 7 had just come out, and I've been ordering this book. I've been enjoying this lightly. You've got Tom King writing it, and yeah, I've actually kind of enjoyed this book. And then I get down to the variants, I get down to the facsimiles, and I did pick up an issue number 59 of the facsimile for Green Lantern number 59. It is the first time we see Guy Gardner. Now, it is an imaginary story, but it's still Guy Gardner. And then Flash Comics number 1 here, this facsimile, and I think they did the whole book because this is a pretty thick facsimile. So you've got the entire book that is a facsimile. I know in years past, in a lot of books like Action Comics, for example, there are multiple facsimiles, but a lot of them aren't a true facsimile. It's a reprinting of maybe the cover and the Action Comics with Superman story in it, but they don't reprint everything in there. Now, in years since, it seems like the facsimiles are true facsimiles where the only difference might be the price on the book itself. This says $6.99, and you know that was a 10-center back in the day. So about as close as you're going to get to a replication of the original book at this point. And I'm pretty sure, I didn't look, but I'm pretty sure that they used newsprint on the inside of this here too, which would have been kind of cool. All right, so that is it for DC. That takes us down to the last category, and that is the independent books here. And I got some good stuff here, some of my favorite books. But we start with Shiver Suspense Stories. This is one of those new EC Comics anthology books right here, and I'm actually going to drop these at this point. I enjoy them, but I've got to make cuts at some point on some of the books that I buy. I buy so many books that sometimes I have to give up on a book at some point. I'll probably do the same with this, although it disappoints me. It's one of my favorite characters. You've got Nexus Scourge, number 1 right there. Mike Barron, of course, writing his creation. My only issue is, and I don't know any story behind it, but I know you've got Steve Rude out there still doing Nexus type stuff. What's going on with this right here? Why do we have Kelsey Shannon doing artwork? I mean, why is not Steve Rude doing this at this point? I don't know the story. If you do, let me know down in the comments section. But Nexus is always one of my favorite characters, but it's got to be Steve Rude doing the artwork. Ongoing title is Space Usagi. I'm sorry, I should say limited to number 3. This is issue number 2 of 3. Space Usagi number 1. I have not enjoyed, even though I do enjoy Usagi Yojimbo. I'm not as much of a fan of the Space Usagi by Stan Sakai. Just, I don't know. It's not the same thing. I like the fact that his stories are rooted in history and there's real elements in those stories. And this is set in the kind of a Star Wars universe. And it's not my favorite thing, although I still enjoy the artwork. It's just not the same thing. But that brings us down to a couple things I'm really enjoying. This is a companion to Something's Killing Children. In fact, it's the art of Something's Killing Children. And I thumbed through this, and what you do have in this book right here is a lot of different covers from the ongoing Something's Killing Children title. There's so many titles, so many issues and variants that my guess is that this does not do it justice, that we only scratch the surface of all the covers that have been done by Something's Killing Children. Be an interesting piece to maybe work on with probably a lot of modern day artists to get signed to put in this book. It's too big of a project at this point in my life to get started on something like that, so that will just stick in the PC. So now we're down to the final 2 books of the pre-order for this month, and they are 2 of my favorite books by the same writer. And outside of the regular ongoing Usagi Yojimbo, this is my favorite ongoing book right now. And the other one is pretty new, but I include it because it is the same character and the same writer. You've got Conan the Barbarian from Titan Comics, Jim Zub doing the artwork, and this is issue number 17. And what's funny is I literally just filmed the New Comic Book Day video where I got issue number 18, and I talked about the artist. And this 17 right here has all the things, hits all cylinders right here. You've got Jim Zub still writing. You've got Roberto Del Torre doing the cover right here, very channeling John Buscema. I mean, it's almost like he cover lifted John Buscema. It's so close. And then the interior art, man, I'm going to misspeak here. I thought we were back hitting all cylinders, but the artwork is, I remember the girl's name because she did issue number 18 as well. Brine, I can't remember her first name at the moment. So I thought that Doug Braithwaite was back doing the artwork on this issue here, but it's not. So I'm a little disappointed. I thought he was back. We had the Del Torre cover. We had Jim Zub writing. I thought we had the trifecta. So I'm a little upset that I misspoke. I thought we had the trifecta, but I did talk about the artwork on number 18, and this is the same artist. I just didn't feel like it fit well with this Conan book. So I'll take a look through this. I probably won't be as happy with it. If 18 is anything like this, or this is like anything like 18, I'll definitely not like it quite as much. But nonetheless, the story has been fantastic all along for the last couple years with Jim Zub. It just continues to be good, really good. Best comic book out there. But the companion book, what did I say? There's another book by same writer. You've actually got the cover artist on this it's been Del Torre on some of the books, but not in this case. But you got Jim Zub doing Conan, Battle of the Black Stone, and this has been kind of a curious, different kind of story in this. It seems a little different. It's a little different, but it's still very good, and I highly recommend this as well. But Conan the Barbarian, regular title, has been my favorite book really over the last 2 years. Go out there and check it out. Anyway, guys, that is everything that I pre-ordered for this particular month, knowing that I will pick up a lot of variants and books that I missed during New Comic Book Days, and that's why I encourage you to watch those videos so you can see what else I pick up. And definitely leave me a comment in the comment section below. Let me know what you think about the books I'm picking up. What is your favorite book to pick up each and every month? I'd love to know. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Have a great day. Just remember, every comic has a story.